Hi there, it's Nicole for Simon Says Stamp, and today I'm sharing a card that features components from the April 2017 Simon Says Stamp card kit called Wild and Colorful, and it's this darling little stamp set that comes with the card kit, or you can purchase it individually. It's called Wild Cuddly Critters. And what's so fun is you can use these lots and lots of different ways, but there's these awesome action wobble little springs included in the kit, and you can make interactive wobble cards. So to do this, I am going to go ahead and stamp some of the images from the Wild Cuddly Critters stamp set on this strip of smooth white cardstock. The cardstock's included in the kit, as are the stamps. And I'm lining them all up because I'm going to stamp them in a row using my MISTI. And that way I can stamp them a couple of times, one on top of another, to get nice crisp outlines. So I'm just going to work with that, get everything lined up, pick it all up at once, and then stamp this a couple times. I think that the wobble springs look better if there's an image back behind where the wobble's going to be. You definitely don't have to do this. This card, it's probably not quite as important as the one I'll be sharing here in a couple days, but over on the Simon Says Stamp blog, I guess I should say. But on that one, there's a row of animals, and I think it would look funny if it wobbled and there was nothing behind it. But I think it gives it a much better illusion when there's another animal behind it. So I stamped the elephant again, and I'm going to color both images. It does take a little bit of extra work since you're going to be coloring both images in, but I love that when you kind of pull the little critter down and let it go and it wobbles, that you can see the animal behind and the animal there. I love the effect. I'll show that once I get to that step in the card, and you'll see how cool it is. I'm using some warm gray markers plus a pink marker to color in my elephants. The elephant that I'm going to be fussy cutting out, it's not quite as critical that I stay within the lines, so I did some kind of messy coloring here, simply because I was going to be cutting it out, and you won't see any of that I got out of the lines. So I'm going to keep blending this out until I get the grays the way I want them to look. The grays did tend to bleed just a little bit, and I had to go back over the lighter area in the ears to fix that. They also bled into the eye area a little bit because I didn't wait long enough in between switching up colors. And if that happens, for the eyes, I simply took a white glaze pen and went over the white areas. And then I went ahead and went over the pupils and the highlights with pens anyway, so that didn't really affect it too much. But that will definitely, a white pen will help make the eyes white again. To make the pink not quite so stark pink, I oftentimes like to go over it with a light gray marker, which I'm doing here, and it lightens it up quite a bit. But you still get that nice pink undertone. Once my coloring is complete, I'm going to do a little dot detail all over the elephant. I think that adds a fun touch to the animal. These are super fun little critters to color. Very, very cute. I think they would be cute used in so many different ways. So I did go ahead and fussy cut that out, and I did not video it since it was simply cutting it out, and that isn't that interesting. I am going around the edges of the fussy cut image with a black marker just to get rid of any of those harsh white cut lines there. Very, very carefully going around the whole thing. Then I'm going to color in the greeting that says Wild Thing. I'm using a couple shades of yellow. I knew I was going to use the blue cardstock, the Island Blue cardstock, as well as one of the Lawn Fawn perfectly plaid rainbow papers that are both in the kit. So there was going to be a lot of blue on the card, and I thought yellow would be or yellow and orange would be a really fun contrast to that and really pop. So I am coloring in my letters with 3 shades of marker in Y08, 18, and YR4. Then the little open hearts that I stamped below. What is so fun is you can use those open hearts as they are. There's also some solid hearts in a row. So if you wanted them all to maybe be one color, you could use some of the inks included in the kit to stamp the solid image. But I went ahead and did those in rainbow color underneath, kind of just to match the whole feel of the kit. And then the 2 larger open hearts above, I'm coloring with shades of red in R24 and R46. Once those are colored in, I am going to go over those with the Wink of Stella clear glitter brush marker. I'll even go over the letters in the greeting and the little teeny tiny hearts down below. Blend those out again with the lighter of the 2 red markers before I add the Wink of Stella. So you can see that the top elephant's going to wiggle on top of the bottom one. I have also got 2 borders here that I die cut using the Sunrise border die from Simon Says Stamp. Those were die cut from the Island Blue cardstock included in the kit. And I've also trimmed down some of the Perfectly Plaid rainbow pattern paper from the kit to 4 inches by 5.5. So it's going to be the whole length of an A2 sized card, but slightly narrower, so there's a little white border on each side. Each of these Sunrise borders are going to be tucked underneath the edge of my strip, and then I will secure those with some adhesive. So I'm just kind of messing with these a little bit, trying to get those exactly straight. And originally I thought that I would leave it as is, but I felt like the borders needed framed up just a little bit. Once I added them, I really wanted to have the focal point on that cute little Wobble elephant. And while I think it is, I decided to cut 2 really thin strips of black cardstock and frame them or put those borders along each of these sides, and that just really helps frame up the whole thing really nicely. It coordinates nice with the black stamped outline of the critters and the images and the title, and looks really fun. So anything that's overhanging, I'm simply going to take some scissors and snip that off. I'm gluing down those black borders with a glue pen since they're pretty thin. And I'm going to lay those in place and just kind of smooth my finger over those once I have it as straight. I just eyeballed it. I'll flip it around, do the same thing. And I purposely left my borders longer than what they needed to be so that I could trim them down so that they didn't accidentally get too short, which sometimes happens. At least for me it does. So I always like to leave them a little longer and then just trim off any of the excess after the glue has dried. For the Wobble spring, it's got adhesive on each side, which is fantastic. That way, you don't have to come up with your own adhesive. So I'm going to remove one side of the adhesive, and real quick, I decided I better fix the eyes before I added the spring. So you can see over on the left side of the screen, the backing paper for that spring that I'm going to be using. I'm going over the eyes with the white glaze pen and the black. I'll go ahead and snip off the extra while I'm waiting for the marker there I used on the eyes to dry. And then I will secure that spring to the back. Again, I was still waiting for the eyes to dry because I have messed up eyes so many times that I went ahead and just left them a little bit longer. And this is where I'm adding that Wink of Stella clear glitter brush pen to the hearts and the letters on my card front. Then I'm going to secure one side of the spring to the back of the elephant. The other side of that is going to be secured to the elephant on the card. Oh, I guess I will go ahead and put glossy accents over the hearts. as well as the greeting. I'll probably do that in a little bit. I don't want to get my hand into it quite yet. I like to go back with my white glaze pen and add the little highlights in the pupil back on there. And then I'm simply securing the spring, I'm sorry I got out of the screen for that, to the back of my fussy cut elephant. And then I'm just going to press that in place right over the elephant on the card to secure it. Now I got it slightly off for whatever reason. I think it was not straight on the back of my elephant. So I decided to go ahead and attach it to the card first and then take my fussy cut panel to the spring, and that worked so much better. So I wanted to leave that in so you could see that little tips and tricks maybe that might help you a little bit when you play with those wobble springs for yourself. So super cute. I just think it's so much fun to take your finger and wobble those little animals. Really fun, easy, interactive element. I went ahead and put some adhesive on a white top fold card base and adhered my panel to that card. Trying to keep my fingers out of the glossy accents. It's always dangerous not having the glossy accents all the way dry when I go ahead and start doing a few other things to my card. That really probably should be the last thing that I did. I'm going to go ahead and go over the letters now with glossy accents. I have got a little tip on my glossy accents. This is the one from Scrap Perfect, and I have really been loving it. So far, no clogs, which I am thrilled with. And it's got such a nice fine tip that it draws perfectly, especially in little teeny tiny areas like these letters. So if you want to do something similar, it is fantastic to get a little tip like this to put on your bottle of glossy accents. Even those little teeny tiny hearts near the bottom of the card. Once I have that in place, my card is all finished. Thanks for joining me today for this interactive wobble card featuring the April 2017 Simon Says Stamp card kit. The supplies I've used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Please subscribe for weekly card making and stamping videos. Here are a couple more cards featuring Simon Says stamps and dies that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.